Yep. I don't know how else to tell you. This sucks. Okay, it's official, people. Greetings, good evening. It's Saturday evening in the United States. It's about 6:15 Pacific Standard Time. And I don't know about you, but I have been really uh, I knew this was coming, okay? I knew this was coming, and I told everybody on planet Earth. I sent a message through my YouTube channel to 7.5 billion people, and only a few got the message, sadly. Anyway, the few of us who did get the message, uh, I'm hoping that you had a chance to be aware of this in advance, because some of you, I know, you don't actually watch the channel. You just hang out and have fun with the live streams. Some of you watch the reports every month and so on. But anyway, I was looking at this piece of so-called sacred geometry, weeks and weeks and weeks ago. And I anticipated this moment vividly in time. And now it is here. And at the time, as I very clearly explained in the monthly reports for each sign, which were posted weeks ago, this thing is a beast and it sucks, okay? And it is here with us right now in full force at this moment in time, and it's going to amplify even further. So there you go. Let me explain further. I need to do a couple of things. Just hang in there. I will be right back. Just give me a few seconds. That's all I need. Literally just a few seconds. Okay. Okay, thank you for your patience. Yes. Greetings. Hello, Elizabeth. Hello, Tina. Hello, Lahamar. Hello, Marilyn. I see you there. I see you, Marilyn. Hello, Linda. Greetings, greetings, greetings. And Cups of Hope. By the way, Cups of Hope, I owe you one, right? I owe you a little oracle or something, okay? And greetings, Ivona. Hi. I won't take up too much of your time this evening, but I really felt that I had to share with you guys. Give me a second. I will make myself presentable. Here we go. Barely. This is it, people. This is it. Like Elizabeth said, it is the big orange triangle. And that is an example of sacred geometry. Now, of course, in the planets as a whole, it's all sacred geometry all the time, 24/7, since the dawn of our solar system. Okay? But as some of you know, in the last 150 years, it's only been that time that we've been aware of Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And now those planets are starting to become more and more integrated into our consciousness. But it is a huge, enormous leap going from 150,000 years of Homo sapiens living with Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. We can see all of those, but they never understood all the other spooky stuff out there. So they just said it was like demons or angels or the gods or something. And now a lot of people, they used to call the planets the gods because they found the parallels between the sacred geometry of the planets and human behavior and human evolution. Hence this thing that we now call astrology. Okay, so it's very hot in here. Thank you. So right now, you probably noticed that I am super ultra, let's say, mellow. Okay, I'm just going to confess this before we do anything else. Last night I slept 12 hours. The night before I slept 12 hours. And in between, I've been taking a lot of naps. And I like to live by example. So I was telling myself, listen to my own body. My own body says, rest, rest, rest. So that's what I did. I don't like to rest. I don't like to sleep. I don't self-medicate. I don't take sleep pills or anything like that. But I've always been a very optimistic, energetic, lively, active person. And so to take a nap and to sleep for 12 hours is almost like it's criminal. But anyway, I did it, and I'm really enjoying and benefiting from it. And so, hey, hello, Pat. Good evening. Robin's Realms Readings. Good evening. And so I decided that even though I should probably be horizontal right now, taking another nap after all the other naps I've had today, I decided I needed to share this with you guys, just a little bit, okay? So good. I'm glad you're resting. Let me go back to the chart and I'll sort of help everybody out here a little bit. I'll do what I can, okay? I know I sound very, very fragile, very kind of wimpy, and that's just how it is today, okay? I'm taking a lot of rest, but I need to help out, okay? All right, here we go. Yes, exactly, Path Traveler. It is self-healing. Resting is incredibly important, okay? You can't be on all the time. Hello, Marilyn. Greetings, greetings. Thank you, Ivona. I'm going to do exactly that. Dr. Kukulka. It's the Dr. Kukulka show. Yes. Hi. So anyway, this is a beast, people. This thing here, this beautiful piece of sacred geometry, it is a beast. Right now, as I told everybody on planet Earth, we have a massive, massive Virgo new moon. And the few days leading up to it and the few days after it, it was cataclysmic for a lot of people. I had a barrage of emails and readings that all happened around this cusp of the Virgo new moon. It's because it was so much energy piled up in one piece of the heavens that it was bound to impact all of us, every single one of us in some way or another. Okay. Oh, hi, Tia. If you're moderating, got to do that. You got to do that. Hold on. Anyway, so I've been aware of this for over a month now, and now we're in it. And it's much more subtle, much deeper, and much harder to understand, and much harder for me to carry than I imagined. I knew it would be stressful. This is a very stressful alignment. Let me explain. This is what they call in sacred geometry a T-square, or yeah, it's basically what they call a T-square. Typically, they would illustrate it like this, and it looks like a letter T, okay? There would be the T, okay? And the pivotal planet here is Jupiter. And the other planets that are in hard opposition are Mars, Sun, Mercury, and Venus over here, and Neptune over here. And in a few days, we're going to have the moon over here too. So, and in the middle, we have Jupiter and Sagittarius. Now, each of these things in their own is just a wonderful thing, and that's fantastic. But when you put this all together at this very moment in time, like a form of sacred geometry, in this thing that in astrology, they call it a T-square. You can call it whatever you want. It's a popular term. Okay. Yes, I don't normally do anything on a Saturday except rest and mind my own business. But I felt this thing is affecting me so much, and I knew it was coming, and I kept thinking, wow, I better, send out kind of a reminder out there about this sacred geometry right now. Hold on. So what's going on? So as you all know, we had this humongous Virgo new moon at the very, very end of August, the very beginning of September. And in a few days, we're going to have the full moon, 14 days later. The moon is over here right now. Can you see that? So the moon is over here. So the moon has already moved on through Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, and it's already in Capricorn. So we not only have this huge stellium over here, and it's still a big stellium. Hey, warrior spirit, I see you. Thank you. And then, so we've got a lot of clusters, okay, right now. So at this very moment in time, in the planets, in the heavens, if we all had our own personal private Hubble telescopes and we could see all of this, we would see all these planets huddled over here in the constellation of Virgo. And way on the other side of the solar system, we would see Neptune over here. This is a very tough opposition. In astrology, they call it an opposition. It's when the planets are at the maximum point of separation. You can't have a greater separation than this. This is the maximum. It's 180 degrees of separation. Okay. So in other words, Neptune, dear amazing Neptune, is putting huge amount of stress on what was Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. It's still putting a huge amount of stress on Mars, Sun, Mercury, and Venus. And now, in the last couple of days, it was putting huge stress on the Moon and Sagittarius. These typically tend to be very stressful angles. When it's a 90-degree angle like that, it's always stressful in the form of sacred geometry in the heavens. And so when you multiply all that up, imagine this, okay? So what you see here is one orange triangle. But if you could imagine four of these big triangles all layered on top of each other, can you see what I'm talking about? It's a lot of stress. And a lot of the stress here, I think, is to do with the Virgo-Pisces axis that is playing out across the planet with everybody, wherever this lies in your chart. So, for example, if you're a Virgo, it would look like this. You get it? Okay? If you're let's have a look. If you are a Cancer, it would look like this. Okay? And if you are let's say, a Capricorn, it would look like this. So I'm hoping I'm not doing a lot of diagnostics here. What I'm going to suggest is if anybody here has not watched their monthly reports for September, I would highly recommend watching them now to catch up with the deeper explanations of this. All I'm trying to do here is send a reminder that this thing is live right now and it's not going away. Okay? It's going to be here for at least another week or more. Or more. Okay? It's super stressful. Okay, imagine all that Virgo energy. Okay? Yes, but they're all sitting on top of each other for it to leave. It's like one orange triangle on top of another, on top of another, on top of another, and on top of another. It's super, super stressful. And the main pivot point here is Neptune in Pisces. Okay, I should let me put that over here. Neptune. Here we go. Neptune. So as you know, if you've heard to the channel, there's no winning, there's no losing here, Path Traveler. I see your notes. It's just very, very stressful. It looks like a massive, imagine like a huge tug of war. It's a massive, massive tug of war energy, okay? And the beauty of it is that it's very powerful and very valuable when you can handle it. The $10,000 pyramid, yes. So you would think the way you put that question there, Path Traveler, is Pisces or Virgo winning? Well, here's my suggestion. Pisces is Neptune is a very large planet. It's a huge monster gas giant, way far out there, far, far out there. And it was only discovered around 1850. So we've only known about its actual existence for about 160, 170 years, okay? And because of the nature of Neptune, it has a massive, massive gravitational pull, okay? Otherwise, it would not be able to stay in orbit around the sun. So just Neptune on its own is facing off with all the other personal planets here. Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. Well, Moon is here, but all of these. Now, these are much closer, of course. But my feeling is that it's kind of a balancing act because it almost like all of these energies here add up to one Neptune. That's why I'm mentioning all this stuff, okay? So typically the way I would look at this, from the health aspect, okay? Let's pretend this is just anybody's chart, okay? And let's pretend this is an Aries. But for everybody, when we're talking about the polarity of Pisces and Virgo, I automatically think of health issues because the Pisces energy can represent the energy of the 12th house, which would be where we stuff all our unresolved pain and sorrow and suffering. It's the house of self-undoing. It's the house of sickness, the house of hospitals, the house of rest homes, the house of hospices and dying and passing away to the other side, to the great beyond. It's the house of self-healing. It's the house of self-undoing. It's this house of addictions, uncontrollable addictions, uncontrollable psychoses and suffering, almost to the point of death. The other side of it, of course, is the beauty of being exposed to the universe of heaven, okay? So we're talking about two extremes of energy that express themselves in very different ways. That's why it's sometimes very hard for Neptune energy to be understood in a methodical kind of way, okay? And at the other side, we have very tangible energies. We all know very clearly the energies of Mars, Sun, Mercury, Venus, and the Moon. Each one of them plays out in a different way of their own energies, but they're all in Virgo. And so the Virgo theme is very much about health as well. But it's much more about the practical aspects of health. Like this would be like, say, the energy of insanity over here, going insane, and over here's the energy like, well, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to see a doctor? Are you going to get holistic health care? Are you going to self-medicate and dose up with, medical marijuana and LSD and Valium and liquor and crack and to smoke your head off and whatever? Or are you going to see a doctor? Are you going to seek treatment? Are you going to discover? Are you going to try deliberately through a very regimented practice to reveal it, to heal it? In other words, deep, deep Virgoic scientific type of self analysis. Okay, what is exactly wrong with me? Why is it wrong? Where is it going wrong? Who is it going wrong with? When is it going wrong? Is it to do with me and my expressions of energy? Is it my love and relationships? Is it my communications? Is it just my light? What is it? And all of that energy is opposing here, and all of this energy is opposing here. It's like a war. This is energy like the energy of war. This is the energy of open enemies. In other words, however bad things are over here, and you're part of that life, you're going to know about it over here. And then what are you going to do about it? Okay? Okay? So this is just my personal opinion. I would be looking at this from the health aspect. And so, for example, with tarot illumination, I'm looking at it from my own health aspect. What I've been realizing is that I've been stuck personally in illusions and delusions about how disastrous and painful things here have been at at this channel for over 9 months now, and I've been wallowing in misery, suffering, 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 suffering. And now the big question is, okay, TL, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to be your new habits, your new practices, your new strategies, your day-to-day practices? How are you going to improve your self-care, your self-healing? What are you going to do about it? Analyze yourself, know thyself, and then figure out a plan, and then write out a list, and then rewrite the list and revise the list over and over again, just like an OCD Virgo, okay? Which would be the perfect way to deal with this energy. So I hope that makes sense. Whatever works for you guys. Like if some of you are into crystals, do the crystals. Some of you are into the oils, do the oils. If you're into plants and flower healing, do that. If you need to go to a psychotherapist, do that. If you need to go for like meditation on the beach, if you need to go to a new type of yoga class, do that. Whatever it is, it's time to do something specific about it, wherever that part lies in your life. Now, here's the next layer of stuff that makes it confusing, okay? This is the sacred geometry, and this affects the whole planet, okay? But the question is, where does it lie for you? Like somebody just asked, like, what about somebody who already has, by nature, by birth, a very strong Pisces Virgo axis in their chart somewhere? What if you were born as a Pisces, okay? Then all this stuff would be happening in the area of relationships, marriages, business contracts. If you're born an Aquarius, it might be happening in terms of money, finances between yourself and another, and your own sense of self-worth. Okay. If you're a Capricorn, it might be happening up here in your sense of like knowledge and wisdom and greater understanding, uh, foreign uh, foreign influences from the great beyond, and then how you're going to communicate that in day-to-day life. Okay, it's really, really tough. What about a Sagittarian? This could be really, really awkward. It could be really messing up your sense of career. Let's say you are a really buoyant, optimistic Sagittarian and you get this thing happening up here, new starts and new beginnings for my career, but it's all being dissolved underneath like a black hole or like massive sinkhole, that every advance that you make over here dissolves into a sinkhole over here. Oh no, oh no, oh no. What are you going to do about that? Even with Jupiter direct in Sagittarius, what are you going to do about it? Over here, what about the Scorpios? Okay, so for Scorpios, it might be coming in the forms of uh, true love, romance, creative self-expression in forms of business. And what does that look like in terms of the community? What are you going to do about it? What forms of new things are you going to do that works in a community setting? Okay, remember, this is just as ugly as it is beautiful. The next thing about, let's keep going over here. If this would be a Libra, then you can see it's happening directly on your health axis here. So Libras, if you're dealing with really serious health issues, that would be understandable. Please communicate them, okay? It's very important. And so on with the, uh, with the, where did I go? Over here. There's a Libra. So with the Virgo, it's right in your face. You're being heavily pressured to create a new identity from scratch, a complete remake, total remodel from scratch, because you're getting totally, let's say, undermined and dissolved. And like as soon as you figured out what am I going to do next, something happens over here in your seventh house and dissolves it all. So you're constantly having to remake everything. Over here with the Leo energy, what are you going to do? You know, okay, what are you going to do over here as a Leo? Because it's happening with your money axis, okay? Big issues to do with money, okay? That would be the Leo placement. And you've got uh, this new start, new beginning, and your values, okay? And it's being opposed over here in your eighth house, okay, of other people's money. What are you going to do about that, okay? If there's something really sick, really wrong, really out of whack, what are you going to do about it? You have to express it some way, shape, or other, okay? And over here, the dear Cancerians. This is more to do with sort of like the Capricorns, new starts and new beginnings. How are you going to improve and, let's say, rationalize your communications to the world in terms of listening and speaking? You're going to increase better filters in terms of listening and better uh, practices in terms of communicating because you have a lot of very divine inspiration coming to you, dear Cancerians, coming from, let's say, the big horizons. And so, how do you capture all of that and bring it down here onto Earth so that other people can understand you? If you don't figure it out, it's very unhealthy. So, you have to figure it out, okay? Over here, like with Geminis, can you see there's a bit of a problem here for Gemini? This is super high. If there's any Geminis here, it's understandable if you're experiencing a huge amounts of stress. Okay, dear Geminis, are there any Geminis here today? Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Okay, if you are a Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising, this could be a very stressful alignment for you. Uh, Deep changes in the foundations of your life, home, family, the place of safety, which impacts your sense of career, your destiny on earth. And it's all happening in the context of very important one on one relationships. And these are all highly stressful angles directly in your face, Gemini. Taurus over here, lucky you get a bit of a break. Hey, JGF, so you must have just heard that. You might get a bit of a break because this Virgo energy is very sweet for you. The Pisces energy is very sweet for you. The Capricorn energy is very sweet for you. You might be really, um, you know, optimizing. And even though this is still hyper stressful, Taurus might be one of the ones who's actually uh, benefiting by having the least amount of stress. It's still very stressful, but it's happening with planets and angles that are actually beneficial to them, okay? And then back to Aries, where we started, okay? It's all about your health axis. So if there's any Aries here, either way, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever your sun, moon, or rising, whatever your Pluto, Uranus, or Neptune, whatever your, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, this is happening right now, and it's going to impact you somewhere. If there's anybody out there who has very prominent Virgo, Pisces, Sagittarian aspects in their chart, please be aware of this. This is super hyper stressful. If you're a Sagittarius sun, if you're a Virgo sun, if you're a Pisces sun, sun, moon, or rising, any of those, this is super stressful. Okay. And the thing is, okay, let's just say it. This sucks. It really does. But at least when you are aware of this stuff, you have a chance to figure it out. Like if you watch the Weather Channel and you know there's a huge hurricane coming, are you just going to sit there on your porch and on your veranda and sip some lemonade and watch until it just blows you to pieces? Or are you going to look at the report and think, well, you know what? I need to do something about this. I'm going to evacuate. Thank you very much. Or what am I going to learn from this? Whatever it is, okay? So There we go. Oh, Lahammer, how long is it going to be going on? Okay, for example, there's Lahammer's notes there on the side. Okay, so in a few weeks or so, all this Virgo energy is going to start to diminish, okay? Okay? And so the stress levels will diminish. All the Virgo stuff is going to shift gently over towards Libra and Sagittarius, okay? Also, where was it? You're a Sagittarius, so Lahammer, this thing is going to affect you directly, and it's going to affect your other person directly in very significant ways, perhaps very stressful ways. And so the way to handle it is to allow the stresses to happen. There's no point in trying to stop this or block it. Resistance is futile. It's the worst thing you can do. The healthiest thing you can do is live with this, understand that this is just like watching the Weather Channel. And then the question is, what are you going to do about it? Do a lot of deep self examination, like, well, who am I? What does this really mean to me personally? Me personally, okay? Because each one of us is unique. Every single one of us, 7.5 billion people, have unique charts, okay? And so it will affect each one of you differently. All I'm suggesting here with this little video tonight is that this is very active right now, and it's going to become super extreme, okay? I'm just giving you a heads up, okay? Okay, let me go through check in with you. Thanks, guys, for listening. Thank you. I'm still keeping things very mellow here, but I felt it's my duty to share this stuff with you. Almost like I'm sort of one of those storm chasers. Pretend Terra Lumination is like an astrology storm chaser. And I'm noticing something. I already put out the reports weeks ago. If you haven't seen them, please watch them, okay? Especially if you've never been to Terra Lumination before. Please watch the reports for September. And it goes into quite a bit more detail about what we're talking about here, specifically for each sign, okay? And I guess basically what I'm trying to say is that this is an example of sacred geometry in action. It's very vivid, it's very active right now. You can see it very, very clearly in the solar system, okay? And I'm just trying to convey it in the simplest terms possible so that each one of us can figure out, well, what are we going to do about it? If you're not interested or you don't care about it, it doesn't really matter. Your life will just go on anyway. And if SHIT happens, you can say, oh, I'll blame my mother or my sister or my boyfriend or my girlfriend or my children or my employer or my upbringing or my abusers or my predators. Basically anything and everything that sucks, you're going to end up blaming it on somebody or something else. Okay? If you are not doing the work of self-healing, if you are not doing the work of owning your own energy. If you are owning your own energy, you're basically incorporating this and understanding it and making it your business to love thyself, take care of yourself. What are you going to do about this? No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to save us. You can go to the top astrologers on YouTube. You can spend $300, $500, $600 on a premium astrology reading. Then it's not going to save you. It'll give you some awareness, but I'm just trying to give you a snapshot awareness right now, and it's basically for free. Okay, so here's the thing. Just I hope you get something out of it. We could talk in circles forever. Okay. S. Starzy. Hello, S. Starzy. Everyone will figure out their own way to do with it. Terra Illumination is doing a lot of resting right now, and I'm doing a lot of deep internal integration, dealing with these particular aspects. I know exactly what they mean in my own personal life because I've studied this stuff for a long time. It doesn't make it any easier, okay? Just because I have a hobby of following the astrology and trying to learn about these things. And I've learned how it helps me. I'm sharing that with you. It doesn't make it any easier. In other words, I could be going through the very same hurricane that you guys are going through, whatever that is. Does it make it any easier? Not really. But at least you have an understanding. This is how things are. So what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Okay? Okay? Anyway, let me go back to this because La Hummer brought something up. Very interesting. Okay? So, La Hummer, because I think you said you're a Sag talking with a Virgo. Okay? So you are, by definition, La Hummer, you're in a very challenging alignment here. Okay? If you're, let's put you like this. Okay? Let's put you on the horizon. You're a Virgo. You're dealing with, sorry, you're a Sagittarius. You're dealing with a Virgo. So for Sagittarians, Virgo people are going to have an influence on your sense of destiny, placement, career, mission, purpose in this world. Okay? They might be pressuring you in some way that makes you feel as though it triggers your sense of who am I? Why am I here? What is my purpose on this planet? And you might be learning things and discovering these things in very contentious ways. Okay? That would be the nature of something like this. It could be very, I'm not saying hostile communications, but all I'm suggesting it could be learning lessons in a very challenging way. And those lessons would affect you at the very foundations of your life. Okay? Your sense of home, your sense of family, your sense of stability. So that's just one example. Now, let's go back to the basics, okay? Hello, Nikki. Oh, I didn't see you there. Hello, Nikki. Hi. Okay. And so, for example, going back to La Hummer, is this going to keep going? Is this going to keep going? Is this going to keep going? Well, yes, it is to some degree. But again, it's just like the weather. It shifts and changes as we go along in time. So right now, at this very moment in time, look at this, okay, La Hummer? The moon is over here around 10 degrees Capricorn right now. This is a very unhappy placement for the moon. It's very easy to feel depressed, low energy, sad, doubting your feelings, your emotions. Everything would feel kind of like numb, kind of bleak, a little bit sad, a little bit miserable, and it's going to increase. Okay? That feeling has a chance to increase, even if you're the most amazing optimist. If you are deeply in the flow and you live very closely in alignment with your body, then there's a chance that you will feel a sense of depression over the next day or two as the moon transits through Saturn and Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. Okay, I'm just giving you a heads up. Okay? Now, let's move on. In a few days, the moon is going to move through Aquarius. It's going to be a light transit for a few days there, and then the moon is going to enter Pisces over here. So guess what happens? What happens is this thing gets super challenging, okay? All of this that we're feeling right here now, here, has the potential to look more like this. Seriously, serious woe is me. Okay, I'm not kidding, people. If you reach the full moon and you're literally shuddering and quaking deep inside, okay, you might not be. Maybe you're just super happy lucky. Maybe you drink, triple espresso cold brews all day, every day, and you're not going to feel any of this stuff. You're just going to bulldoze your way through life. Okay, fine. But if you're living very, very closely in alignment with the sacred geometry and honoring and respecting your body, the chances are around September the 13th, well, I'll just mark it here. I'm just going to mark it for you. Okay. Just going to mark this, okay? September 13th and the 14th, roughly. The moon is going to be right here. And so, everything that sucks about what we're talking right now, it's going to suck even more. There's a very big possibility that this full moon could seriously suck big time. I'm just giving you an advance notice, okay? And you can do whatever you want to do, however you do, to self-care, self-love, love thyself through this process. You are number one, okay? No matter what other stressors are out there, please understand this too shall pass. Eventually, this piece of sacred geometry will dissolve and it won't look like this anymore. A while ago, we had big stressors with the Leo Aquarius axes, tremendously stressful for a lot of people. Well, we're getting a very similar pattern here. This is a very vivid, very strong T square. I showed you, it looks like this. That is the letter T, okay? And this is the square. Jupiter is square to Mars, Sun, Mercury, and Venus, and it was to the Moon. Jupiter is square to Neptune, and it's soon going to be square to the Moon and Neptune. These are very stressful alignments combined with another super stressful alignment, okay? So that's why they call it a T square. It's one of the most stressful alignments in sacred astrology, okay? Okay. Saturn is going to go direct in the middle of the month, okay? So what's happening here is when the moon reaches here, I think there will be a deep sense of very, let's say, hidden energies, things deep inside all of us that are super hypersensitive that we only have in terms of what you could call your intuitive feelings, and it's being heavily triggered right now. All that Virgo light energy is shining a light on here, okay? And all the Pisces, Neptune moon energy is shining an energy over here. And there's a very good chance the beauty of it is that you reveal it to heal it. And you can see all the things that are so deeply buried and so painful. Like if, for example, if you're a classic abusee, you're a victim of abuse, for example, and you might find extra layers of history that have been buried for a long time or lifetimes that are coming to the surface. Reveal it to heal it. And that might be very uncomfortable. Like you might feel like very depressed, sad, lost, painful, weak, fragile, vulnerable, like reliving lifetimes of victimhood all over again. But now that we're aware of this, what are you going to do about it? Okay? Yeah, yeah. Uh-oh, there's Nikki and Nikki. Hey, Nikki, meet Nikki. Nikki, I don't know if you've met Nikki yet. Hold on. Let me introduce you. This just happened the other day. Nikki, I didn't know if you're aware that there's another Nikki. Okay. So there you go. I can't do a lot of personal, I'm not going to do anything right now in terms of readings or anything. This is literally like a storm chaser report. I'm like out here, right here in it. I've been doing as much self-care as I can, trying to rest. I'm, I'm going to I'm going to do everything I can to take full advantage of this sacred geometry and to go deep in to those parts of me that I know are being exposed so that I can reveal them, so that I can heal them. And how am I going to do that? What am I going to do about it? Am I going to continue to be a victim? Am I going to continually choose to stay in the mode of victimhood? Or am I going to say, enough is enough? This is my energy. It's not personal. The planets are doing what they do. I have my history in my lifetime. I have my own history of trauma and abuse. You have your history of trauma and abuse, and you have lifetimes of history and trauma and abuse. The chances are some of that is going to bubble up, like the sensation of past life memories, dreams, sensations, like awakenings, psychic feelings, like, oh my God, what was that? Oh my God, what was that? I feel like I'm somebody else in another movie. Who is that? Well, it's all you. It's all you. Everything that's happening to your life is happening to you, and you feel it in here and here. A lot of times you sense it here, but that can translate into your body in terms of fear and trauma, which you can hold here into the chest area, which is where we store a lot of stress and trauma and pain. That's why people become like asthmatic, or they have breast cancer, or they have lung cancer, and things like that. So, because the breath, our human breath, is the first thing of life. Without air, we go dead within a few seconds, a few minutes without air. So it's very, very important. Okay. Okay. Let me go back over here a second. Yeah, it's really hot here. Um, I wanted to let you know something. So I don't want to linger on this too much. I'm just trying to point this out to you. Please be aware. Don't be afraid. Just be aware. And forewarned is forearmed. Okay. Do what you have to do. Love thyself. All right. Mhm. Hold on. I need some more of this. Give me a second. This is my fermented grape juice, as you know. Sometimes it's very rare, but sometimes people under the age of 18 do watch this channel. And I'm really proud of that, and that they're interested in these things. So, in terms of sacred geometry, this is a beast. Okay, I'll just recap it very quickly. It truly sucks. This really, really sucks. From the big picture, this is a period of sacred opportunity. It's learning how to grow, evolve, adapt, and blossom through stress. It's just like a plant that has to survive. It wants to survive. This really triggers out the will to live, the will to survive. What are you going to do about it? If you don't do something about it, you just fade. You're just going to fade away, and then you end up becoming a victim over and over again. When you look at this as a piece of sacred geometry, a piece of sacred opportunity, this is a chance to grow through stress, to grow through challenge, wherever these trigger points are hitting you in your life. And I guarantee each one of you has an exact trigger point somewhere in Virgo, somewhere in Pisces, somewhere in Sagittarius, to the exact degrees. You might not have planets there. You might not be a sun, moon, or rising, but you might have something else. And even if you have a blank section there, it's still impacting you. Okay, please understand that. All right. Yeah. So a lot of you study this stuff as well anyway. And so a lot of you are already well appraised of your trigger points. A lot of you, if you've done the work on yourself, you will know your chart. And you can keep your chart in front of you every day as a blueprint. And then all these things that happen, sacred geometry, the weather, you can refer those to your natal chart and to see where this thing impacts your natal chart exactly to the degree. Okay. S Starzy, you're a Pisces with a Sag rising. Okay, so S Starzy, this is a very significant report for you. You need to pay very close attention because you're highly vulnerable to the stressful aspects of this thing. Yes. I could go on, I guess, for a while, but I think I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't want to linger too much, okay? I'll leave this rolling. I'm just going to play a little bit of music first off, okay? Give myself a break. It's very hot. I want to cool, and then I'm going to probably say farewell fairly soon because I want to have a gentle evening. I'm keeping it very mellow and spacey. I hope you don't mind. Okay. I saw your notes there. I'm looking at something from Nikki, I believe. And it says, TL, Nikki has a question for you. Where's somebody a very odd question? Oh, it's not an odd question, actually. It says here, okay, so let me just read this out. So, women PMS monthly, which is obviously a very emotional, mad time for us. Yeah, it's one of the most vivid and obvious, uh, let's say, metrics uh, that we can, let's say, match with the patterns of the moon. Okay, and so you purge feelings. Okay, what about men? They don't have a natural purge, so is it planets that forces their purge? Okay, okay. Okay, yeah, well, I would agree with you, Nikki. I'm just going to give you my personal opinions, okay? It's not odd. It's not, it's a, like Nikki, it's a good question, okay? Men do have hormone dip cycles during the month. Do they align with the planets? I'd like to know. TL can address. So I will do my best to address you. Give me a second here. Hi, Nikki. Thank you for that one. I'm going to give you my personal opinion. My personal opinion is that even though men do not actually have a biological hormonal menses cycle, they are affected by the sacred geometry and the movement of the planets, just like women. And we are literally transceivers. Our bodies we are constantly receiving and transmitting energy. And from in my observation and experience, men in general pay very little attention to the things that we pay attention to here on this channel. Men operate from what I would say a classic male perspective. If something around them triggers things like depression or pain or whatever it is, something horrible, there's a chance they would either self-medicate or lash out or become an abuser or something, just any form of random behavior that could be blamed on a stressful alignment. For example, if everybody who was watching this show right now, tonight, right this moment, was a guy and I was explaining all this stuff to them, the chances are they would be very reluctantly admitting, like, well, you know, I had a bit of a rough time, but it wasn't so bad. The game was good. I went out and did that. Because men typically would shove it all aside because it's completely, everything that we've been talking about is more or less from the male perspective, completely irrelevant to having a successful, happy, fulfilling male life. That's how I look at it. So I think that's one of the reasons that they just mostly simply don't bother, they don't care. In my neighborhood, there are a lot of guys who are interested, but they mostly go through the yoga. And I'm sure there's plenty of male astrologers and everything, but in general, the vast majority of interest is from women because they tend to be more aware and more concerned about their body. Men seem to have a natural tendency to have no problem with trashing each other. You know what? Let's get it on. Let's go to war. World War One. We're talking millions of people slaughtered. Men, almost all of them were men. Men going to war with men. They don't figure it out. They don't make any attempts to self heal. They don't make very few attempts to uh, own the energy, to be responsible for it. It becomes mostly a hormonal testosterone type of expression thing. That's my personal belief. And there's very little effort, very little work put in by the male of the species to try and integrate and own these things and become responsible and live in the flow of these energy fields. Because what's the point? It's much easier to tell someone else to F off, or I will kill you if I don't like you, or I will, engineer like a social change plot in political atmospheres to make things work for me. Warfare, almost all warfare is initiated, conducted, and concluded by men, right? That's how it is, okay? And I don't see anything changing in the near future. I think war is becoming a kind of a strange phenomenon. People don't know what to do about it anymore, especially since the discovery of Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, especially Pluto. The whole of humanity is now fully aware that if just a handful of very, very powerful men decide that they want to obliterate several million people over here, they can do that by pressing a button. So that's a lot of power. And that didn't used to exist before the age of Pluto. We're dealing with it now. I think it's going to be personally a long time before men, the male of the Homo sapiens species, catches up with the female in terms of learning or integrating or understanding this energy. I think somebody wrote in the answer is football. I would agree in a broad term when you have countries and societies where there's a very active sport culture, like in America, in in a lot of countries that whatever it is, soccer, football, tennis, basketball, uh, rowing, climbing, very, very active sporting culture where you have these typically male warrior type energies, wrestling matches, soccer matches, basketball, football, tennis, a lot of it. It's the energy of war. So you're capturing the classic male testosterone energy to go to war, to fight and obliterate the enemy so that you can dominate as the male. They're doing it in a way that you don't actually kill the enemy, you just play the game. Okay? When people are playing soccer, they don't actually kill the opponents. Like when at the end of the game, when the winner wins, they don't do like a mass ritual slaughter of the losing team. There's kind of like a headbutt handshake thing, like ha ha ha, we're the winners, like, and like, well, we suck, like, and it, you know. But in general, and Nikki, to answer your question, I I believe that the male is fully triggered as much as the female. It's just that they have extremely and utterly, completely different ways of dealing with these patterns compared to the way females deal with the sacred geometry. I hope that helps. I just gave you my opinion. Anyway, yes, Path Traveler, I see your note there. War is the biggest, most rewarding business on earth. Okay? All you have to do is watch certain or learn some very, very frightening statistics and realities about, especially about World War One, World War Two, what happened in the world banking systems at those times. It's basically profiteering, warmongering, and the banking system benefits astronomically from war. In other words, okay, there's body of men A versus body of men E. Body of men A with a belief system A, body of men B with a belief system B. My system is better than yours. I am going to obliterate you because if you do not comply, you do not deserve to live. And the other party says, well, we don't like that. We're going to challenge you. And then the bankers are in the middle, and so they're basically saying, along with the armed dealers, like, hey, listen, guys, I'm the banker. Hey, I'm the banker. If you want to, I will lend you all the money to buy all the weapons that you need to go to war with your enemy. And then they turn around and, by the way, I will also lend you all the money that you need to go to war with your enemy. And then at the end of the war, whoever wins, you pay me back, plus you pay me back the debts of the loser. Deal? And then the two warring factions go, yeah, deal. Let's fight, baby. Because they don't really care about the money. All they want to do is fight. It's just testosterone wanting to go to war. That's all it is. And then the banks are in the middle, the Federal Reserve and everything like that. Just like, bring it on. It's just more money for us. You kill yourselves, you kill yourselves. We'll just stay in the middle. Why do you think Switzerland is neutral? There we go. Excellent idea, Nikki. I see your notes there. It says here, can you see that, everybody? It says, this is the other Nikki. Thank you. You answered perfectly. I am taking a hiatus from men for a while. I decided to be my own soulmate. Wow. Wow. Nikki number two. That's very cool. Can you see what you just said there? It says, I have decided to be my own soulmate. That's a very simple, pure expression of love thyself. That's what this whole effing channel is about. Love thyself. Well said, Nikki too. Okay? Hold on. Yeah. I know, Nikki. I know, Elizabeth, they're not neutral. They're highly, highly vulnerable. But they act as a pivotal point, like this point here. This is kind of like the Switzerland point, okay? A lot of the world global banking transactions move through Switzerland and Belgium and London and New York and Tokyo and Beijing and Singapore and Hong Kong. And it's right now, I'll just give, if you really want me to go for it, I'm just going to do it. My personal feeling, as you know, January 2020 is going to be a monumental year for the world. It could be as it could be like the rewriting of the American Constitution. It could be some kind of currency war. My personal my personal feelings are is that we are going to go into a crescendo and a culmination of a currency war, where the global financial system, as we know it, is going to go through. It's going to turn into some kind of sinkhole, and because humanity has never been in this place before, nowhere ever in recorded human history have we ever been in this place before. The banking systems that we have today, this thing that we have called fractional reserve banking, is a very new invention. It's only been around for about, I think, about 120 years, maybe less. But what it's done, it's had this amazing effect of being able to expand and grow an economy and a population. But it's done through the business of uh, debt, merchants of debt. And it turns into a warfare because what happens is one country prints more money and another country prints more money. And so all sorts of ethical morality disappears because in the end, everybody's just printing more money. And my personal feeling is that eventually there's going to be a reckoning. There's going to be some kind of reckoning at the spiritual, global, astrological level for the whole planet. Because at the moment, my personal feeling is that we are conducting World War III right now, but it's not in terms of the slaughter with so many guns and missiles. It's to do with economic warfare using the currency markets as the battleground. Okay? And the primary actors in this war is the United States, China, Switzerland, Japan, London, and pretty much the rest of the world from there downwards. But yeah, anyway, yeah. It's the end of the world as we know it. I can't sing any karaoke covers because they'll shut the video down. Yeah, let me go back here. We could rant for hours about this. Okay? Yeah. I see your point, Nikki. Thank you. Understood. Printing more money will only bring the value of the dollar way down. That is exactly correct. And that's why there are a lot of people in this country who look as though they're doing okay because we have things like houses and cars, as highways and real estate. But Nikki too, this country is a debtor nation more than anything else on the planet. And the five elements, the four elements of debt, excuse me. You already know this stuff, all right, Nikki? Mortgages, car payments, college loans, credit cards, and health care. Those are the five pillars of debt. And those are the five pillars of debt that keep this country going. I know it sounds absurd, but that's actually how it works. And every one of us as single individuals, all of us, are basically operating as debt cows on a debt farm. I personally don't carry any debt in terms of a traditional debt. On the other hand, I've made a lot of sacrifices because I don't like to carry debt. I know people who have a lot of debt, and there are some serious drawbacks that go with that. It might look as though you're living a fabulous life, but I'm not sure I would want to make the compromises to my soul to live that life. So I don't. And so I live on the fringes of humanity in terms of the American society. Yeah, yeah. We're running out of time. Talk about your book, Terra Lumination. Oh my God, we're running out of time. It's the end of the world as we know it. Yes, it's true. Okay, I will just do that just for kicks. I really don't want to go too long here. Okay, I'm just going to do it. Thank you, Nikki. I'll do it like this. Hold on. I'll make it a professional thing. If anyone's interested out there, if you haven't seen this before, this is a book that I wrote. It's from Terra Lumination. It's called Wealth, Money, and Finance. And it's all about the global restructuring coming to the whole planet in January 2020. Okay? I've done a lot of homework on this. I wrote this a long time ago because I'm one of those kind of prophetic type of people. I can't help it. I've always had a very strong sense of perception of very deep, long currents of time, and I put it all in words here. Okay, some of you have seen this already, but what I'd like to refer to specifically is the very, very last page, one of the very last pages. And this is where I get into the astrology. Saturn also enters Capricorn around the very end of 2017 for a very long journey, almost 3 years, into early 2020 and to the end of 2020. And the absolute pivotal moment for this planet, something like we haven't had this for at least 250 years, it will be the time when Pluto and Saturn are in closest alignment, which will be around the time of January 2020. So I'm just giving you a heads up, people. See my little book here? Some of it is just common sense, but some of it is very disturbing. And I wish I was really famous and everybody on earth could see this book and read this book. And then you would be able to do something about how to save yourself. Okay? So in this little book here, I'm not going to go into a big story about it, but what I'm referring to is this other stuff of sacred geometry. And I studied this long ago. And when I looked at the sacred geometry, just like I look at this sacred geometry, when I look at the time period of January 2020, It is a monumental period in human history, okay? The nearest thing in comparison is 1776, when the United States, a very young uh, entity at its time, basically told the British, screw you, I'm out of here. We are no longer willing to live with this kind of oppression anymore. My personal belief is the same kind of experience is going to happen on a global scale, where there's going to be an outcry from humanity, and they're going to basically challenge the infrastructure of humanity, the the things that we know today is our political systems, our banking systems, our war machines, our global economies, our currencies. All of those things are going to be going through some kind of earthquake, okay? Some kind of cataclysmic experience at that time, okay? I don't know what it's going to be. It's a period of evolutionary growth on a human scale that we have never experienced before. Thank you, Path. Anyone can understand it. Yes, it's true. I did write it in such a way where you don't have to actually know anything about politics or economics or finance or astrology or any of that stuff. I'm not kidding. I felt it was my obligation to communicate my awareness in a way that you could just feel it as a person. Now, what you do with that information, again, is just like pretend I'm just a storm chaser. I'm just a storm chaser. I'm looking at the sacred geometry. I look years and years and years ahead. I can't help it. I just like doing that stuff. And at the time that I wrote it, I didn't even have to look years ahead. I could already feel it in my body. I already knew that this thing is coming. It's literally like when you look at the Weather Channel and you look at hurricane forecasts. It's the same thing. That's all that I'm doing here. I'm not the Weather Channel. I'm doing it from the perspective of the astrology. It's that simple. We are headed for what I would consider a perfect storm in terms of the astrology. And the pivotal moment is January 2020. And then there's another secondary pivotal moment in around November 2020. And you guys know what that means. It's going to be very much to do, tied up with the American economy, the American politics, the American election, the American finances, and how that impacts the whole of planet Earth in terms of human behavior. Okay? So there you go. Sacred geometry. Okay? What was that? Let me go back. Hold on. What was that, Nikki, too? I splurged on myself today at the salon. So I failed the money part this week. It's okay. Yeah, anyone, if you have the possibility, if you've got a way to get out of debt, if you can find a way to get rid of your credit cards, your mortgages, your car payments, your college loans, anything like that, if you can find a way to get rid of any of it, you would be helping yourself. And if you can find a way to live a life which is, let's say, I would say much simpler, like a much, much simpler life, where it's like you live a life of cash, cash only, or the equivalent of cash. Have you ever heard of this thing called Bitcoin, for example? People are trying to protect their finances, their wealth, their money, their privacy using this thing called Bitcoin. I wish them luck because they're going to need it. Nobody knows where it's going to go. Bitcoin doesn't know what it's going to do or where it's going to go. Okay? Mm. There we go. I'm glad I actually went online and I did this and I shared this stuff with you guys. There's not a lot of people here, but it's okay. Those who need to be here will be here. And if you're not, then it's your loss. It's okay. No worries. Let me go back over here for a moment. Okay. Let's see. Anybody got any last minute issues? Otherwise, I think I'm going to wrap it up soon. I'm going to have an early night and a very gentle day and a very, very gentle evening. And it says here, oh, hey, Nikki, it says, I am picking up a weekend waitressing gig soon. I have a good job, but making more money always helps. Excellent, Nikki, too. Excellent, excellent approach. If you are in a state of optimism and abundance, and you can find a way, if you've got a good job and you can still keep it, that's great. And you can get the extra waitressing, great. If you can find a way to stash cash, uh, some people don't have the opportunities. I'm probably much older than you, Nikki, too, so I don't, the things that I would like to do, I don't have the so much opportunity to activate or act upon them. I understand the concepts and theories, and I've been very good at helping other people figure out what to do and how to do it. Uh, doesn't mean I'm going to be the most successful myself, but I do everything I can to live by example and honor my own understanding of my own interpretations. Okay. hmm Okay, Path, I see your note there. What should we be investing for in the future? Uh, well, Nikki just answered the question there. For example, I have a medical corporate job, but I want to buy a home. I'm 33. Well, it depends where you are. If you can buy a home, I've done a lot of work, Nikki, in helping people radically improve their lives through what I would call financial structuring. Again, please don't quote me on this stuff because I'm not certified. I'm not a certified financial planner, for example. But a lady friend of mine from years ago, she was a recently divorced woman with 4 children, recently migrated to the United States, super hyper intelligent. She figured out how to get herself into the early stages of training. She won the lottery to become to get a green card to the United States, but she was very, very unaware of the United States markets, okay, and how things work here with debt, finances, credit cards, and college, and economics, and so on. So typically what you would do is the classic formula is you would look either for uh, uh, the crappiest house in the best neighborhood, or you would look for a place that has natural intrinsic value. Uh, like, for example, in my neighborhood here, I've kind of predicted everything that's happening here a long time ago, and exactly what I predicted is happening here. And there's astronomical wealth and money that is pouring into my neighborhood, and there's certain reasons why. Uh, so, for someone who wants to buy a house, if your job is connected to the city or the town or the neighborhood where you live, then you can obviously only look within about a 20-minute radius of where to buy a house. And it might not be a house. For example, it might be better off to buy a very small condo, a very like very small condo, a super high quality condo in a very well established neighborhood where the value of the condo is very evident. Another strategy might be if you can go out to like a 20-minute, a 30-minute radius for commuting, for example, and you can go into a neighborhood that has, let's say, depressed prices, uh, depressed values for whatever economic reasons, but it still has certain value because of the location. For example, let's say it's very convenient for commuting, or it's very uh, uh, convenient for like development or something. Like let's say there's another 10 or 15 houses on the same street, and everything is kind of depressed and dilapidated simply because of economic trends, and you go and buy one of these depressed area properties, and you can get it at a very good price then you could perhaps, you know, invest in that and turn it into a rental place. If you've got 2 or 3 rooms, for example, you could rent out 1 or 2 rooms and get your mortgage paid for, and do that practice for perhaps 2 or 3 years. And after 2 or 3 years of doing that, you make a special mission to work very closely with your bank and tell them, listen, I'm very interested in developing my real estate portfolio. In 3 years from now, I want to buy another property and do the same thing, and I'd like to come to you for the mortgage, please. Are you okay with that? And they say, of course. All we need to see is a regular monthly steady cycle of good payments. That's it. And then you can start to build a real estate portfolio, as they call it. Okay? Yeah, you have to be very, very careful. Yeah, Nikki, so you're a single mom, 2 young boys, a condo could work. If you could get a condo with, I know it might sound crazy. Maybe I don't know if there's a lot of them, like 3 bedroom condo. It's possible, but you could also rent out one of the rooms to a coworker or something like that. So you can start to cover your like a mortgage payment. Also, of course, if you can take full advantage of the American mortgage system, where you can get on a very small monthly payment and a huge 30-year contract. So you're not putting out huge amounts of money every month, and that will get you inside the front door of the real estate business. And then every time, every month, or every year that you get a chance, you start to prepay the mortgage. Like if you have a bonus at the end of the year, for example, you take all that money and you prepay some of the mortgage so that you can get out of your mortgage quicker and quicker and quicker and quicker each year. The whole idea is to get out of debt, but of course you have to have somewhere to live. So it's almost like you've got to get into debt to get out of debt. So be very, very careful. You have to do a lot of homework. You have to do a lot of math to figure out the right property at the right place at the right time for the right price. And when you do that, then you lock it in with the right deal. Okay? I've helped people do this. It is a formula, it's a plan. I've helped people set up real estate portfolios that are worth millions and millions of dollars, okay? And they just do this. It's just a formula. But you have to know what you're doing. The hardest step is the very first step. You can get a lot of advice. Look at the advice you're getting already. There are homeowners here, and everybody has a different scenario, okay? Everybody has a different scenario. And um, it's good to learn from people who are already successful. It's also good to learn from people who have failed. What failed? What went wrong? Tell me your story. How did this get screwed up? Where did it get screwed up? Please. So, Nikki number 2, I would, you already sound like you're very smart and you're already ahead of it, but whatever you need to know, feel free to reach out, okay? Whatever you can do. It's a lovely little community that we have here. I know it's an astrology tarot channel, but we do so much more, and I'm really appreciative of you guys. See, look, Nikki 1 is helping Nikki 2. Look at that. Look at that. Nikki, 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 Nikki. Isn't that awesome? Sweet. Empowering other people. Yeah, so Nikki 2, maybe consider becoming a member here. We have Terra Lumination Love Tribe. There's a membership place. You can check the links below on any of the Terra Lumination videos. And then you get a place, it's like a community. It's just this little thing that we do, but it's a very specialized, very loving kind of community. And we're all here helping each other to grow and evolve and adapt and blossom. Okay, sometimes it's tough. My contribution is that I have the platform. It's a Patreon membership place. We have the YouTube channel, and I'm soon going to be integrating a Vimeo secondary service so that I can actually try and be compensated for the channel because it's very hard at the moment with YouTube. So anyway, we'll think about it, but consider that, Nikki, because when you go through the community place, when you go through the membership place, what you'll find is that there's a community section where the members can hang out with each other. Also, we have events where we hang out with each other. And pretty much everyone here is making it their business to love thyself. Number one, love thyself. And if you've got any tips to share about how you can better learn to do that, then you're in a good place with good people. Nikki with Nikki, Robin's Realms, for example. Okay? There you go. You're already getting a lot of help, Nikki. There you go. I just saw that. Let me just read that. Hold on. Oh, so, Nikki, please hit me up with that medical practice advice. I'm trying to set up a holistic practice with a small building I can live in and practice read out of. Anyone have thoughts? Well, Robin, we're going to chat about that anyway. I would love to chat with you, hang about these things. I would love to help you manifest your dreams if possible, Robin. So I think what we could do is we could actually hold a whole show just about that, or on top of having something private. Uh, that's basically what I was talking about, Robin. Divine direction, divine intervention. How are we going to do this? Okay. I've already had my little moments over here. Do you remember when we first started the channel and I was always going, hold on a second, give me a second. Hold on, so I keep dropping everything. Okay. So, Terra Lumination has been going for almost exactly one Saturn cycle now. We started about 2.5 years ago. And at the beginning of the Terra Lumination channel, the channel was attacked viciously many, many times over and over again, declaring that Terra Lumination is an instrument of the devil and that I am possessed and that I need to shut my channel down, and I am painting a nice picture in order to find ways to turn people into some, I don't know, it was just like this demonic possession thing, and I had to learn how to protect myself and block all that stuff. And then YouTube itself is going through massive convulsions. We've had the so-called apocalypse #1 and #2, and we're already on #3 now. And I feel it very vividly in the channel. I am now working closely with the creator support people because they are kind of in denial about what's happening on the inside of this channel. On the other hand, I have a couple of creator support people who see the horrible stuff that's happening in this side of the channel, and they're trying to make it happen inside the creator support systems. In other words, there's YouTube, for example. There's the creator support people who are working very, you know, closely with Terra Illumination to figure out what's wrong with this channel. There's something seriously effed up about this channel. And there's another aspect of creator support is like, dear Terra Illumination, please understand there is nothing wrong with your channel. All these bizarre aberrations that you think you are seeing in all your analytics, that's normal. That's absolutely normal. It's simply because people have changed. If you saw the analytics and the data and the statistics behind this channel, you would become a conspiracy theorist. You would become super ultra hyper paranoid. You would start to think someone's after you. Someone's trying to shut you down. One of the storylines with this channel recently is about 9 months ago, At the very end of 2018, my channel, after struggling to keep going again, my channel was attacked viciously by two women. Okay, and the message was the same from both women. Basically, Terra Lumination, we have been watching your channel for some time now. We have determined that you are demonically possessed. You are an instrument of the devil, presenting yourself as a helper and salvation and someone to, to bring love to the planet. But we know for a fact that you are using your channel to operate a cult that is seducing women into your home and locking them in your basement and using those women as your personal sex slaves. You need to stop. You need to shut your channel down right now. You need to pray for repentance. You need to turn to Jesus for salvation. God help you. By the way, we have reported you to YouTube. Okay? I had a lot of attacks like that. I've had a lot of attacks, but this one was a killer. After that attack, the channel was crushed. Okay, and uh, the channel has been in a coma ever since with the analytics. Okay, and I'm still working to try and figure it out. And I have finally found one particular creator support person who is kind of on the side of Terra Illumination. And it's a woman, and she's working very hard to try and find some common sense here. And she has taken this to what she calls internal and then to internal. So it's being pushed up the ladder of scrutiny. So now I know for a fact that the channel is being watched and monitored and used as like a lab rat, which is frustrating. I just wish I could just get on with it. I wish I could just be like famous and rich and everybody in the world would be a subscriber and I'd have lots of AdSense revenue and I could just send lots of useful messages to people and you could have a happier life. But it's exactly the opposite that's happening. Why? Well, I know that a lot of you guys have expressed that's because you represent the light. I feel that I do. And there are certain entities that don't want the light to prevail. I get it. So it's like spiritual warfare. Hmm. I know, Path. I know. But Path Traveler, let me say something. Hold on. Dear Path Traveler, I'm aware, it just says here, your capitalist says, you're just feeding this story, calling it in, let it go. I know that. What I've done is actually I've been working very hard to let it go. And the more that I'm letting it go, the more things are starting to turn around and let's say in my favor. Okay. And I now have this new creator support person who's doing extra levels of homework. Okay. Behind the scenes to actually try to help me figure it out. Okay. So I know exactly what you're talking about, Path. I know that I have been a magnet for attracting the energy. I know this more than anybody, okay? I know that energy flows where attention goes. I know that every moment I focus my energy on what is not working on this channel, all I do is make more energy come to what is not working. Okay, okay. I will stop. I will stop. But I was ranting about it all day, every day, nonstop. But I haven't talked about it hardly at all for a while. Today was just a rant, but it's more of a positive rant because I started to get support from this particular person. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, Path. I know it. I know exactly what you're saying. I know already. I know exactly what you're talking about. Path Traveler, I really, truly, fully understand. I get it. I totally get it. I totally get it. All right, let me see over here. What did I miss? Hey, Laura, what's going on? Dear Laura Ellen Smith. Uh-huh. Oh, uh-huh. Oh, hey, Pat, it's only recent. I'm only just starting to like to flip the energy round. I'm actually kind of proud of myself. I really am. I feel like I'm doing a really good job of reducing the amount of ranting about my misery and woe is me stuff. And I can see every time I turn it around and I look towards the positive, I can see very subtle, gentle shifts and changes. Okay. Mm. Wow, you guys are awesome. Look at some of the stuff. Robin's Realms reading says, I've been under severe attack lately. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not the other one. Uh, yeah. Don't let them see you sweat. Oh, Nikki too. Yeah, I'm trying. That's why I'm using this towel. I don't have any of my fans on right now because I'm in the studio and I'm trying to host a show. And it's summertime and it's hot. I'm by the beach, but still it's really hot here. The beach keeps the weather very gentle and mellow here, but with all the lights and everything that I have to do the shows that I do, it gets pretty hot. So sadly, right now, they are seeing me sweat. It's okay. We'll get over it. Wow. Do you realize I don't think we've ever done like an event on a Saturday night. I didn't know there would be so many people out there. It's just a small crowd, but that's okay. It's a loving crowd. Hi, Laura. So I'm guessing it's really hot in Nashville right now. Super ultra hot and sticky. That's it, primary. The healing power of FU. I just, by the way, I learned something. I learned something. Oh, you live by the beach too, Nikki. Yay. Okay, well, we'll tell more stories. I was doing this thing. I learned, look at this. I learned this the other day when I was at the YouTube Creators for Change event where I was one of the guests. This, in terms of sign language, means love. I didn't know that. I don't know sign language, but this is a symbol of love. Okay, there we go. Hey, Nikki, too. What beach are you on, Nikki, too? What beach? I'm over here at Venice Beach, California. I'm just a couple blocks from the beach, okay? Oh my gosh, it's funny. I have to say, I have to admit, people, I'm really glad I went live at this moment because um, it makes me feel like we're family and we get to hang out and do this stuff. So uh, I've got a wacky idea. Hey, Path, this would be for you. Path, are you still here? Oh, Virginia Beach. Oh, Nikki on Virginia Beach. You probably got slammed by a Dorian, right? Yeah. Wow. Wow, Nikki, it sounds awesome. You're in the middle of three different beaches? Whoa. Well, that sounds cool. Wow. All right, let's have a look. What over there? Who's that? Who's that? Hold on. Let me just check something. Yeah, it's salt water. I'm just checking through this chat. I missed something. Okay, there we go. I got it. Okay, I saw what I wanted to see. Okay. I have a crazy idea. I've never done this before, and I guarantee you there's no one on the internet who's ever done this before, but I'd be willing to do something completely outrageous at this moment. If anybody's up for it, you would have to be a member of the Terra Lumination, and you would have to be very comfortable with being on camera, and you would have to have the ability to go online right now through the Terra Lumination meeting place. Is there anybody out there who understands what I'm talking about? Hint, hint. There's a couple people here who might be aware. I'm just mentioning this for fun, for kicks. I'm sending out a bit of a, it's like a test, okay? Just an idea. So I'm just putting that out there. A lot of people wouldn't have the ability or the technology to connect right now, but what I'm suggesting is kind of outrageous. Nikki, you can do it. Robbins, you can do it. Primary, wait a minute. Also, I'm looking for, I don't know, Path, if you're up for it. This is going to be an experiment. This is actually a live experiment, a completely outrageous live experiment. It's never, ever, I guarantee this has never, ever been done anywhere on the internet or YouTube or anything. But if you're up for it, I'm up for it. And it would be a test. It would be a test, and it might be very freaky. It might be weird. It might not work at all. But hear me out. Okay, what you would need to do is, I don't know how to do it because I'm over here doing what I have to do. Your guys are over there with your technology and do what you do. But it would mean finding a way to go onto your Terra Illumination meeting place link. You know, that place where we have meetings and private readings, okay? And then you would click that thing, okay? Just like we do on First Fridays, or just like when we have personal private meetings, okay? And I'm pretty certain that it will come up here on my own systems, but the question is, can I integrate that into the show? And so it just occurred to me right now, this might be an ideal opportunity here to test this bizarre thing, okay? So anybody who's doing that right now, I'm going to just check something to see if this is actually even humanly possible. I don't know. I really, really, really don't know. I'm seriously pushing the technology here, but this is probably a really good opportunity to do it because it's a very quiet, gentle evening. There's only a few of us here. Several of us here are members. I can already tell. So I'm going to put this to you. In other words, you don't have to do it. It's just literally an experiment. Don't worry about what you look like or what you sound like. It's just an experiment to see if the technology works. I had already arranged something with somebody, but I think uh, it would have to be, Tia, it's like a members only thing at the moment because it's only the members who would have the links to be able to do this properly. But the idea is I'm inviting some of the members or any one of the members to try and join the meeting as if we were having a private meeting with the Terra Illumination meeting place. You would have a link somewhere in one of your emails or on your desktop or on your laptop or your tablet or something like that. And if you can click it and activate it, let me just see if I can open my systems here and make sure that I can actually see people and they can actually get in. Please give me a moment. I'm going to do some extra super tests here just to make extra super sure. Give me a second, okay? Give me a second, please. All right. Okay. All right. At this very moment in time, over here in my time, it is almost coming up to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I have just gone on to my meeting place and I have unlocked the room. Usually it's locked all the time, but it is now unlocked. So any of the members who are wacky enough to want to do so, you can log into the members meeting place, and with any luck, you will arrive and appear at the meeting place, okay? So I am just going to hold space right now. I'm just going to literally hover here, hang out, hold the space. The meeting place is open. The links are open. If you have the links, I don't really know how to do anything better than what we're doing right now. And if somebody shows up and you're a member and you have the link, then I will figure out what to do next. This is an experiment because what I would really like to do is start a new theme with Terra Lumination where we have what I would call an evening with. Okay? An evening with where we have a guest or a member and we get a chance to tell our personal stories. Okay? All right. So while I'm waiting here, I know there's a long delay on the live stream. So while I'm waiting, I am going to top up my fermented grape juice just for the hell of it. And we'll see what happens in a few minutes. It might take a while. I don't really know. I've never done this before. I'm literally just seizing the moment. Someone is here. Oh my God. Someone is here. Let me just check in with that certain someone. I'm going to try something right now. My gosh, it's primary. I can see primary and I can see Love Triber on Galaxy S9. There you go. And there's Robin's Realm. Oh my God. Holy shit. Holy shit, this is actually happening. Hey, Robin, can you see me? Hey, Primary.
I made it. I'm here.
Hey, Love Triber. Now, I don't know if the sound is going to work or not, so just let me just check the visuals, okay? Stay there. Don't go away, okay? Don't go away. All right, so everybody, we are making history at this moment in time. Bear with me. I'm going to click the screen right now and go back to my personal stage. Watch this. Okay. I get a very bizarre thing here. It's showing like a white screen. Obviously, that's not very pleasant. Let's stop that. I'm going to go
There
back to
you
my...
go. Wow, can you hear me?
Oh my gosh, look at you all.
Hello.
I can
Hello,
see you. Yes, I can
me?
hear you, Robin. Hello, Nikki. Hello, Primary. Hello, Galaxy. Hi, Nikki. It's actually happening. What I want to do right now is I'm going to try and connect this. I'm trying to connect this onto the show. I'm trying to connect it onto the show. There's Love Triber. Stay there. Don't go away. Don't go away.
Then we have, who's this? Their Galaxy S9.
Hello, Nikki. Okay, hold on.
I can only see the top of your head, love.
It's actually happening. Well, it's not. Actually, don't get... Hold on, everybody. This is real-time live experimentation with the technology, and I'm waiting to see if it actually works. I don't know if it does. I'm going to switch off my sound so I don't get the echo.
You know, we're all drawn here, right?
Yeah, I'm going to try and eliminate the echo, but with any luck, now I'm going to switch again to see if I can see the Zoom screen. No, it's not working.
Probably should have washed the hair.
For some reason, it's not happy.
Talking to somebody.
For some reason, it is not happy. All I can see, probably what you are seeing on the channel right now, is a kind of bizarre, strange white screen. Now, okay, so it's definitely not working. It's definitely not working. So I'm going to switch out here. Give me a second.
Who's Galaxy?
Okay.
I'm cooking.
Okay, hold
Wait,
on
who's
a second.
Galaxy?
Oh
Who's
my
Galaxy?
God.
Where's
Oh my
Love
God.
Charger.
Oh, hi, Love Charmer.
Hold on.
I know, I'm cooking
Oh.
right now. I can't hold the phone.
Hi, Mary.
All right.
Well, so glad you're here, darling.
All right, hold on a second. I'm going to try and switch to speaker view to see if this makes any difference.
Teal, I turned
Hi,
my
Nikki.
phone off because it was too much interference.
Hold on, I'm not doing much with the sound right now. Give me a
I'm going to
second.
start packing up some things, so when you
Give me a second. I'm going to try this now for speaker view. See if this works. Oh my God.
Wait. It's almost 11:11.
Hey.
11 it'll start.
Hey.
Hold
That's
on,
good.
hold on.
I'm at 10 o'clock myself.
Oh my gosh. So there's primary. There's primary. And I'm going to put you at the center right now. And there's Robin's Realms. Okay. I'm going to put you at the center right now. And there's Nikki. Yes, Nikki.
What does that
I see
say,
the big
Nikki?
white screen of death. Okay.
I'm not seeing anything.
And then there's Love Triber. Okay, Love Triber's blank. And I'll go back to
Notice
Jar Illumination.
right in the green room, and you'll see
Okay.
everybody.
All right, so hold on. So interesting. How about this?
Not yet.
So it's sort of working. It's sort of working, but
Wait.
it's not working. It's sort of, but
Wait,
not.
hold on.
Hold on. Let me see the echo.
Primary, it looks like you're sitting in a pickup truck. That's funny. Sorry.
It's a free towel.
Why do I have like a white screen on my phone? I see primary, but on my phone, Teal, look what I see.
Yeah, I see that, Nikki. I'm trying to get away from
I see
that.
primary, but she's not. There's primary. There's a delay too. I hope these flowers start blooming. Look how pretty this is.
Wow.
Oh, hell, this too. Oh well, goofy ass girl. Come back.
And there's primary. Oh, and then we got the crazy echo.
I'm gonna turn this off and just watch
Oh my
it.
gosh. Hold on. Give me a second, people. Okay, so this is obviously much more complicated than I thought it was going to be. It's much more complicated than I thought it was going to be. And yes, it's very chaotic, and the technology is can't handle it. I don't know why. I'll probably do some more testing and stuff, but the whole idea was that we could do like an evening with. There is another way to do this, by the way. So what I'm going to do is, excuse me, without being really too rude to everybody who just joined, what I'm going to do right now is unjoin you guys. I'm going to say goodbye to each one of you by clicking a button, okay? And, oh no, I don't know how to do that. How can I'm trying to, can you just click out? Just please click out. That's the only way to do this. Please just click out, say goodbye, and we'll get back to the show. Okay, so, all right, here's the thing. Okay, I just discovered in a very, very painful way that this is very difficult to do. The technology is very challenging, okay?
I think you just have to end it, Teal.
All right, let me just go back over here. So, wow, that was freaky. Let me just check this out. I want to try something over here. So, Nikki and Nicole,
Hi, Nicole.
can you please now disconnect because the test is over. It's not working. Hello, Nicole Smith. Hello, Nicole Smith. I see you.
Nikki too.
Now, the thing is, dear Nikki, dear Nicole Smith, dear Robin, and dear Primary, what we're doing right now is happening live in real time at the same time that we're doing the live stream. But the problem is my capture system is not connecting properly with the live stream. So it looks very kind of chaotic and weird.
Catch y'all later. I'm going to book out.
Yeah. So,
I can see
Upper right
everybody.
corner.
yeah.
Upper right corner says leave.
So what I'd like you to do, dear lovely people, all you lovely people who actually did this crazy thing, what I'd like you to do, Nikki and Nicole, please click out. We'll follow up another time, okay? But for the time being, please disconnect. Please disconnect. Please disconnect, and let's go back to the show, okay? Please disconnect. Back to the show. Thank you. Hi, Nikki. You're just awesome. You're just awesome. Yo. Okay, click out. Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. So let's have a look. So, okay. Oh my God. Okay, everybody. First of all, thank you for that incredibly courageous experiment. It was very exciting, and I learned a tremendous amount in the last 10 minutes. I don't know what to do yet. I have to think about it. But as you can see, there is a way to connect. But obviously, we still have a lot to learn. All right. We've been here. Oh my God, that was scary. By the way, I want to say to dear Primary, if you're still here, I'm glad you kind of stepped back and watched this thing happening, because as you can tell, it was very chaotic. And there's certain aspects that work and certain aspects that do not work. And I would like it to work properly before we do things the way that I would really like to do them. Okay? I'm not going to do any more cards. No. I just want to wrap it up. I want to have a very gentle Saturday evening. Yeah, Nikki, that was cool. That was really, really, really cool. I guarantee you no one else on the internet has ever done that before. Nobody, nowhere. And I had everything set up so that if it would work, it would work. But there's something wrong that I don't understand. So I'm going to be chatting with the service providers to see if there's a way to get around the problem. Okay? Yeah, that was pretty cool. Let me go back to the very beginning here where we started with the show, people. This is where we started with the show this evening. It wasn't even a show. It was just like a random, you're a member now. Oh, yeah, yay, excellent, excellent. You are a member now. The whole thing, I just started tonight with a spontaneous urge to share this sacred geometry story with everybody because it's very powerful. It's potentially very stressful, potentially very painful. But again, forewarned is forearmed. Okay. That's exactly what I'm trying to do, Nikki, New York, Nikki. So New York, Nikki, we now have another Nikki, and she's over in Virginia Beach, Nikki. Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to wrap it up, people. I just wanted to let you know this thing is very active right now. It's super, hyper stressful, and we can learn a tremendous amount from the stressors. It's called a T-square in astrology because of this T-shape formation. Opposition, opposition, square, square. Okay? So there we go. And like I said before at the very beginning, this sucks. But is that the end of the world? No. We're going to take advantage of this, okay? Please, everybody, take full advantage of this. For Tarot Lumination, it means lots of rest, sleep, self-care. Do whatever I have to do to try and integrate and grow and evolve and adapt from this. Okay? This is a very powerful energy for evolutionary growth, transformation, adaptation. Okay? So take full advantage of it, even though it sucks. It's call it growing pains, okay? Growing pains. All right, I'm going to check out with a few tunes with just a little bit of music. So in case anybody wants to say hello or exchanges with anybody else, we'll figure things out, okay, people? I'm just going to put on just a little bit of mellow stuff here, okay? You're funny, Sarah. You are funny. You're actually very funny. Let me just see. I'm just checking and keeping going here. Okay, hold on. Hey, let's leave it at that, people. It's been super lovely hanging out. I don't want to uh, mess up the rest of your evening weekend because we're gonna hang out tomorrow night on Sunday. Okay, I'm just gonna say good night here. Over here, I'm gonna make it official. I'm gonna say good night, good evening. Very late at night for some of you. Very hot and sticky for some of you. Maybe it's dawn or whatever. I'm not sure. Wherever you are on Earth. Love thyself, okay? Love thyself, okay? I'm doing everything I can. I'm trying to live by example. I'm trying to take advantage of the sacred geometry right now. Okay, I'm going to go back to the other screen and then I'm going to check out. I'm going to play some just gentle stuff until we all drift apart, and I'll see you soon, okay? Yeah, the doorway to healing. Oh, wait a minute. That's it. Primary, sorry, before we go, everybody. That's it. I've been thinking about that all day. The darkness is the doorway to healing. We have to work on this, people, okay? We need to make a video about it. I'd like to have a team effort. Maybe we'll figure it out with Google Hangouts. Maybe I'll do a live thing. Maybe I'll do a recording. But either way, it's very much about that storyline. The darkness is the doorway to healing. Please don't let me forget, okay, everybody? Primary, don't let me forget. I can't remember who actually said it on the meeting last night, but let's do it, okay? Okay? Okay. All right, so let's do that, okay? The darkness is the doorway to the healing, okay? Actually, if you wanted to, you could say that is a direct reference to this, because in some ways this is very, very shady, shadowy, scary, spooky, ghost-like uh, energy that's very hard to navigate and very hard to understand and communicate and bring into daily communication. How about this? Look at it this way. I should have thought about this at the very beginning of the stream tonight. When you have a massive T-square like this, where is the escape route? Where is the pressure released? How can you optimize this energy? Well, if you go over here, it's over in Gemini. So my feeling is the best way for each one and all of us is to communicate each in our own unique ways how we are dealing with it, which I think is exactly what we're doing tonight here right now. Each one of you, every single one of us here tonight is living under the auspices of this T-square. Okay? And one of the things that I'm enjoying here myself is the way that I'm handling it and dealing with it is through communication. Okay? This is the escape route. This is how to take advantage of it. Over here in like 20 degrees Gemini. And that's very much about communication. In other words, even though we're talking about very, let's say, difficult energies that are very hard to understand and quantify and measure, and it's coming from a very broad spectrum of understanding, the way to handle it is to communicate. 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 Send a message, receive a message. Send a message, receive a message. Talk, listen. Talk, listen. Listen, talk, listen, talk. Okay? That's it. I'm going to leave it at that now. I'm just going to go back to some of the little bits of musical things here, keeping it super gentle and mellow. Okay? Leave it at that.